You're watching New Car Spin. I'm Brian, and that is the Volvo XC90. Not just any XC90, it's Volvo's XC90. You see, that is my Volvo S90 right there, and I leased it back in 2020, and the lease is up pretty soon. It's actually very rare now because they don't make a T6 anymore. They make a B6, which is a mild hybrid. The T6 there is supercharged and turbocharged. This here, though, is the T8, meaning it's 455 horsepower. It has a gas motor to power the front wheels and an electric motor to power the rear. And I've always thought it was kind of weird. How do they match up the power to the front with the power to the rear when you're accelerating or when it's changing gears and this and that? It's actually pretty smooth. And they consider this all-wheel drive, even though there's two different motors. So, yeah. And you can see it's denoted with the Recharge logo on the side. Although, even the B5 version of cars like that are now called Recharge as well. So, unfortunately, I can't replace that car with the same car. And it's going to have to be with the T8 version. The lease price is like double. So, I'm going through a personal crisis on this because I don't want an XC90. You might want one, which is why you're watching this, but I don't. Here's the problem. These are cloth seats. They're actually wool, 20% wool, 80% polyester, and they're an option, and it's called whatever that is. Wool Blend Performance. They don't breathe very well. And if you look, these are actually the same seats as the R Design, even though there's no more R Design. So I'm really confused right now because that's an R Design and that has black leather, but you can't get the same leather anymore. Yeah, it's pretty complicated. So the biggest deal here is on all the 2022 and 2023 Volvos, they've replaced their Sensus infotainment unit with the Google version, and it's not Android Auto. It kind of is, but it isn't. You still get Android Auto. But this is the worst implementation of any touchscreen tech I've ever seen, because you have your typical tiles like you do in your older Volvos, like that 2020 there. But here we have a button for our apps, and we have our button for the home screen, and then we have our settings. Gone is the wheel to choose your driving style. So you want performance, you want comfort, you want whatever. They took that away and they put it into this screen. So you're coming up on someone on a red light, you want to burn them really hard. You got to go here, you got to go here. You gotta wait, and then you gotta go into the right mode, and these buttons are so small, and they're just so, I don't know, they're not necessary, but you have to choose the right one, and then you have the option to go to your battery usage auto hold charge. So yes, this is a hybrid. It's a plug-in hybrid. The range is like, I don't know, because I don't use it as an EV. So that's the beauty of this car. You don't need to use it as an EV. You just turn this thing and it starts. So yes, my fuel range is low. I don't want to find a gas station. Okay, so you can have the map displayed there in the center. I choose not to for obvious reasons. What's going on with the seatbelt? Okay. We have pretty nice wood trim in here. Or if it's crystal shift knob, it's only one push to get it into gear. It used to be two, so I guess they updated it. So now looking here, this is a 360 camera as well. Oh, I'm not gonna make it. Huh, that's weird. So it doesn't turn as tight backing up. Weird. Or maybe it's just this camera. I found that Volvo backup cameras aren't exactly accurate. It's just kind of weird, like a little fisheye warp going on that makes it very difficult sometimes to gauge. It does have the rear cross traffic monitoring and all that, and it's handy to have. So now we're in drive, believe it or not, and we're in hybrid mode. Of course, we have the Bowers & Wilkins stereo. It's trash day, by the way, just ignore that. We have Bowers & Wilkins. We've got memory seats on the driver and the passenger, the window sticker. That's a lockable glove box, by the way, or you can hide things from your family members and put it in valet mode, keep it locked. Can you read that? 80. Man, what is am I not focusing, or is the camera not focusing? I think that says $85,495. That's a lot of money. There we go, $85,495. And the options are the Bowers & Wilkins, $3,200. Air suspension, very good to have. And then Ultimate. So this is the Ultimate. So it's basically the, what was the old version equivalent of that? Inscription, maybe? Because it says bright theme. And there might be a dark theme, which might be the R Design, but it's no longer called R Design. But that's the weird part. You're in like an Inscription, but with seats from the R Design. And you can tell because of the way that seat curls up, that little extension, which makes it very weird. And I love it when people don't use the sidewalk. Crazy. Nothing but crazy. Okay, so in general, we have heads-up display. It's your typical Volvo experience, and like the XC90 that I drove, that was the same power, same engine, same motor as this thing, and it basically means that Volvo has one engine, and then they use that engine all over the place, and then they also add hybrid to it. And so the B version is the mild hybrid, and then you have the T8, which is this one, which is the souped up hybrid. So basically that's all we have. I'm gonna go here, let's do donuts. I'm gonna say Hertz Donuts.
Okay, I'm setting your destination to Hertz Donut Company on Main Street.
Yeah, it's a real thing. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna make a right. So anyway, driving this car is really easy to do. It's just way overpriced for what's happening here with the center display and with the cloth seats. They got rid of the massage, they got rid of the vented option. So normally you'd go here and you'd see the ability to have massage and the vent, and it's gone. And I feel like that's like, you know, they have this term called shrinkflation, where they give you less and charge you more. And I feel like 2020 was Volvo's prime. 2019, you know, with that S60 sedan, and then they had the S90 sedan. They just had so much going for them competitively. That's what converted me from an Audi to a Volvo. But now I'm driving this Volvo, and I'm looking at the price, and they've dumbed it down. They've dumbed it down, and I'm like, why? Why do they need to do that? And the reality is, Volvo isn't, it's a Swedish company, but it's not really Swedish, because Geely owns Volvo, and Geely is Chinese. And so I think it warrants me to say that because of the current geopolitical war chest climate that we have going on. Is that, do you want to support that? This isn't really a progressive, liberal, safe brand, right? This is just another car company. You have to remember that. Just like people get just upset about Tesla because of Elon Musk, like you're buying it for what it is. And this is actually a very solid workhorse of a vehicle, and it just happens to go very quickly, but it's not a political statement or a political symbol unless you realize Geely owns Volvo, even though they're still Swedish. Does that make any sense? So I look at all the possibilities of the money that could be put into this kind of brand and the things that they could do with it, and this is what we get. So they've peaked in 2020, and then they turned, and what turned was when they added this system. This is Android based, Google driven, and it has fewer features and it doesn't do much. And then I don't care that an air suspension is optional. I don't care that they've updated graphics and done certain things, but they've taken away things. They've taken away the good leather. They've taken away the massage. They've taken away the vented seats. They did this stupid thing here, which some UI expert, obviously self-proclaimed UI expert, because there's no such thing as a UI expert, decided we're going to add this stupid little touch sensor that mimics the way you touch something to get it open or closed. And that's just nonsense. And they've done that on all the 2023s now. And I don't like it because it doesn't make any sense. The way it feels, the tactile piece of it, getting your finger up in there and swiping. I mean, I'm swiping a slot. And I don't know why they designed it like that. Maybe people with long fingernails didn't like it. But I don't have long fingernails, and I stick my finger in that thing and I just shudder every time. Actually, I don't use the sunroof that much. I should. Right? And it also controls the shade. So rather than a nice button, it's just this swipey slide thing. Now, as far as Google Maps, yeah, I think there's a way to get satellite. There you go. You can get that. And yeah, so with the power part of it, even with the low fuel level that I have here, you can just put your foot down and it just will launch. And that's because the electric power is always on tap to the rear wheels. And I do like the aspect of that instant response to passing power, because you're not waiting for a transmission to downshift. In fact, you'll hear and see it. So if I close the sunroof now, and I'm just pacing this Armada just to kind of get you an idea of what the passing power is like. I'm going to put my foot down, you're going to watch me move, and then you're going to hear the engine kick in. So basically, that is great. It reminds me of the BMW i3, where the passing power was just massive, and that's what we have here, massive passing power. And it really helps make this a better car to live with. However, I have said before that syncing up of the front to the rear power doesn't really I can't comprehend it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And I feel like I feel that when I drive this hard. So driving it hard is I have to go back to the other side. Okay, weird map here. So driving it hard is basically where this car has a weak spot, because this is not the R design. So it has sort of a soft suspension, and with that soft suspension, when you get up to speed, you really don't feel like you have full control. And that's the problem, or a concern I have, because there's like the Range Rover Sport for $85,000. There's a lot you can get for $85,000 that's fast at this point. And are you really buying this car for the fuel efficiency, or are you buying it for the power? Because I don't see a purpose. But anyway, the truth hurts. Thanks for watching.